What's happening, peeps? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to my channel. You already know what it is. I hope my mic works. My lighting is on. Sometimes I don't be testing stuff before I go live. I'm a disgrace in it. I'm a disgrace. But big up to everyone locked in. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. It's Friday. It's Friday vibes. You know what it is. So I'm happy. I'm always in a happy mood when it is Friday. However, not much news, or there is actually some news on Manchester United and the review that they're undergoing right now. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. We got a little bit to talk about. We got INEOS and the decision, the review of the review that they're reviewing is still being reviewed. I'm tired of hearing the word review. Southgate preferred. Listen, if you lot are new here or if you're not, you know that I kind of alluded to the idea of Southgate under INEOS, and I said this like a month ago when I said that I think that INEOS, that's who they want. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's reports that he is the favored one, especially under Sir Dave Brailsford and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Reportedly grew up a Manchester United fan, which is a childhood United fan. I don't know what the hell that means. They told us that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was a long time Man United fan when he was trying to buy Chelsea. Each to their own. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the summer transfer window is starting to heat up over the next couple of weeks. I anticipate that Manchester United will maybe begin actually officially making moves to people, making moves for people. But it looks like Ligue 1 is the league that they are targeting, both with Thuram and Todibo, both of them at Nice. So that relation already could actually work out for them. Many other players that United are linked to. I think now we're on probably like 15 in terms of the number of names that I have of players that United have been linked to over the last just the last 2 weeks or so. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I guess the main context of everything today will probably be around this managerial situation. Now, let me see. We're going to be linked to Todibo till he's 35, I swear. It would be so Man United-ish for Todibo to end up going elsewhere. It would be so Man United-ish. Jared Branthwaite is another name reportedly that Manchester United are very keen on, but they don't want to spend more than 55 million, I think it is, on him. Of course, he's been dropped by Southgate for that England squad, which doesn't make any sense to me. I can't believe Lewis Dunk is going ahead of Branthwaite. But that's going to be a conversation that we're going to have on the weekend when I do a Euros preview. Obviously, Euros starting next week. The week after that, it will be Copa America. So it'll be a summer, a June and July full of football before the Premier League and all the other leagues return back in August. So there's going to be so much to talk about. But I'm still shocked with Jared Branthwaite not going to the Euros. I would have thought with Harry Maguire not being available that it would have been the only other realistic person to take. But hey, Southgate, innit? What can we say? But on the topic of Southgate, before we actually get into Gareth Southgate, some news on Sky earlier, just before I went live, about the review that's currently ongoing at I'm such an idiot. Ugh. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's better. Some news on Sky about the review that's currently being underway. It's been underway for the last two or so weeks, where they are suggesting that is coming to its final hurdle. Now, I don't know how true that is unless they've got the manager that they want somewhere, which is the only way that I see it being in that situation. I think I've said this time and time again. There's two ways that I see this panning out. I see Erik ten Hag staying, but not getting an extension. So really just having that the 1 year left of his new contract, or I see them agreeing terms to bring in Southgate after the Euros and then announcing that Ten Hag will be leaving for a new manager to come in. Now, I look at all the other people that are available. You think of, De Zerbi, you think of Thomas Tuchel, you think of Pochettino. These are managers with, even though it might not be as amazing as a Pep or a Carlo Ancelotti, etc., but these are managers with credentials in club football. Especially Thomas Tuchel, Pochettino to an extent, De Zerbi to an extent. The fact that Southgate seems to be the name that's been consistently floating around, for me, that's a sign. That's a sign. And I said this ages ago. I said I think INEOS do favour. I do think that INEOS do favour Gareth Southgate. And it just, for me, logistically, the way everything's panning out right now does kind of make sense. One thing about INEOS, they keep a tight ship. No leaks so far. Good for the club, to be honest. I respect it so much, by the way. I know people are getting impatient, and I know people are getting like frustrated, but this is how we wanted it to be for the last 10 years, because we were sick and tired of leaks galore. It wasn't just the ceiling at Old Trafford that was leaking. Everything was leaking. And now there's not really any information out there. They're keeping it's tight-lipped for them. It's very, very tight-lipped. And that's how it should be. That's how it was when they announced Umar Barada. Even when Jason Wilcox came in, we had new talk of Jason Wilcox potentially coming in, but we didn't know when he was coming in. Bam, it just got announced out of nowhere. And I think it'll be the same with Dan Ashworth. Obviously, I think Dan Ashworth's situation is a bit different because there's legal action involved. But even then, the journalists don't know what's happening with the club. And the moves that they're making, and I want it to be like that. I don't know if you lot agree, but I prefer it like that, because it's just the journalists 2 weeks ago, coming into the FA Cup final, the journalists had already sacked Erik ten Hag. And that, for me, I always say it came from Chelsea. It didn't come from United's camp. If you lot watch back the stream I did 2 weeks ago, I said that this information is definitely coming from Chelsea's camp, because they were after McKenna, and McKenna was holding out for United, and they just planted a story in the media. This is how it should be. This is how it should be. And this is how a well-run club should have their media communications be like. They've clearly... whatever's happening with this managerial situation is very evident for me that there's probably not many people involved with it. I don't think there's a lot of people involved with it. I don't think that there's a lot of opinions coming from different people. I think there's probably a handful of people involved under INEOS. Definitely, I think, Sir Dave Brailsford is involved. I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe is involved. Of course, Umar Barada is not coming in until next month, but he probably is involved in the conversations. Just because he's not officially starting his role till next month doesn't mean that he's probably not involved in the conversation. Jason Wilcox is involved, and maybe one or two other members of staff. I don't think Dan Ashworth is, because conflict of interest, he can't be. He's not even he's on garden leave right now, and I think legally he cannot be involved. So I do think the less people involved in this kind of talk, the better. It's much better for Manchester United. I want to hear you lot's thoughts about Southgate when we get into the Southgate discussion. When we get into what could happen next, please let me know. I want to hear everybody's thoughts. I haven't seen one person, by the way, who is keen on the idea of Gareth Southgate. Big up to Act, been a member for 7 months. That's since memberships have been available here. Says, I want a new manager with hair follicles. Potter in. That's another manager I forgot to mention that's available. Graham Potter is available. He turned down the job at Ajax. There's so many managers right now available. And if INEOS are really holding out for Gareth Southgate, for me, that just feeds into the narrative that it is a British owner and a British club, a British manager with the best British talent. That's how I see it. That's personally how I see it. But some reports, this is the most recent one that I've seen today from Rich Fay. Gareth Southgate is viewed as the number one choice for the Manchester United head coach role, but his role at the Euros complicates any possible appointment probably in this time right now. Southgate was a boyhood United fan and is mired by many key figures at INEOS who believe he would be perfect for the head coach role they are looking to implement. Southgate would be interested in the role at some point in his career, though he would require assurances in the level of power he would possess when it comes to making key decisions. You see what the key thing is, guys. The key note that I'm seeing every time we talk about Southgate, and anytime there's a report, by the way, about Southgate, coach. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for a coach. And I've sat here time and time again and said that I think the idea of a head coach is what INEOS want to lean towards more than the idea of a manager. Now, the managers per se, I think, have a lot more involvement in the way things run at a club. I think they have way more involvement. I think they have way more say. I think they've got a lot more power. And I don't think INEOS want that. I think INEOS want to have this level of hierarchy, basically, where there's the CEO. Even the CEO, by the way, I don't think is involved in... The CEO is involved, for me, in the big decisions. He's not involved in the day-to-day operations. That's why you have a sporting director in place for the football stuff. That's why they've now hired a director, a chief marketing officer or marketing manager, whatever it is. They've hired that now to be involved with the way that the marketing of the club is done and the communications and the media side of stuff. They've got, they've brought in Jason Wilcox, a different role. Ahmed Barada is not going to be involved in the day-to-day decisions. He's going to be the one where everything feeds back into him, and then he feeds it back to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And that head coach would come under Jason Wilcox, the sporting director, etc., etc. That coach that they want, the mold of a coach that they want, would be someone that doesn't have a lot of involvement with the things that the people above them are doing. And you know what is an example of that? An example of that is the way that national teams are run. The way that national teams are run, I think, is a very good example to that. Now, with Southgate, for me, I think his credentials essentially come from the idea of him being an England coach. That's it. That for me, that's the only thing that I can think of as to why anybody possibly in this world would want him to come and sit in their dugout, is because he's an England coach. But you look at other international managers, past, present, I'm not talking about England, I'm just talking about in general, they've had successful spells at clubs prior to becoming a coach of a national team. You look at Spanish managers, you look at Belgium, France, etc. The previous managers in those national teams, maybe even current, you look at Luis Enrique, etc. They've had good spells with clubs before taking on that journey of a national team. Southgate ain't had that. I don't know how you can go from barely doing well at club levels to then go on and be a head coach of England, which for me, I'm not going to lie, guys, yeah, I like the England national team. I think this England team over the last couple tournaments have been some of the best England players that we've kind of been able to have, yeah? I always say this, they are never going to win anything with Gareth Southgate. They're not going to, because look at the kind of decisions he makes when he does call-ups. Look at the kind of decisions he makes. I think this class of England players, unfortunately, in my opinion, has been wasted on Gareth Southgate. It's been wasted. We're going to look back, and you know the way that we talk about the era of Rooney, Beckham, Scholes, all of them guys, we're going to look back at that and look at this national team 20 years from now and be like, how did we lose? How did England never win a trophy with that team? How did they? The Euros, the last Euros, their best chance to win a trophy. Even I would go as far to say the Qatar World Cup. They put up a fight against France. Obviously, France went on to go to the final, but Harry Kane missing a penalty, I can't put that solely down on Southgate. But tactically, he's always been inept with the England national team. And I just don't understand how the only logic I can see INEOS wanting him is that he's a yes man in terms of what they're wanting to build. He's not very, you look at Thomas Tuchel, you look at Erik ten Hag, these are the kind of managers that want to have a say on stuff. That's it. And I don't think they want that. They don't want managers that will say, I want this, I want that. But they don't want someone who will challenge whatever it is that they're doing. And I think with Gareth Southgate, the idea of what was Sir Jim Ratcliffe's motto when he was buying Manchester United was make Manchester again, or something like that. That it was something along those lines. This is an English club with an English minority owner and an English manager that lives up to anything that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is trying to build. That for me lives up to anything that he's trying to build. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Big up MUFC 14. Been a member for 7 months. Big up, says Jum'ah Mubarak. Minna Jum'ah Mubarak, for the love of everything. Please turn down the intro music. It's deafening loud. I'm not saying remove it, just turn it down. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that loud. Because I just always just turn it down on my end, but I will turn it down. Big up to MUFC 14 for being a member for 7 months. If you lot want to join the membership gang as well, similar to MUFC 14 and similar to AC as well, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, for the algorithm. You can support the channel in other ways by liking, by joining the membership club. And you can also send in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your opinions, just to support the channel. It goes a long, long way. Fillmore says, Minna, in my opinion, it's not because he's Brit, it's because he'll be a yes man. He knows he wouldn't deserve the job, but he might get it because Ashworth is his link to the job. That's true. Big up to Keegan says, even his England spell has been shit. He is barely enough for a League One side. Malu says, Southgate doesn't say best in class. Absolutely not. That, you know, by the way, that goes against everything that INEOS have been kind of feeding to the audience over the last couple months. This best in class, getting the best that's available. Southgate is the furthest thing of all the managers that are available right now. He is the furthest thing from the best in class. Maybe their idea of best in class differs to what we think is the best in class. Why didn't you read mine? I did read yours. Don't turn it down, Minna. The intro music, you got the best on YouTube. Big up to my friend for letting me use her unreleased song for her intro. Paul says Ashworth hasn't even started yet, so how can he have a say on who the manager is? It would be very naive of us to think that just because Ashworth hasn't started yet, that he won't have any involvement. He won't have any direct involvement, and there definitely won't be like an audited track record of him being involved. But they are definitely talking to him, guys. They are definitely talking to him about decisions that they're going to make. Because at the end of the day, he's going to come in, whether it's a year from now, 6 months from now, however far from now, he's going to come in and have to deal with, you know, he's going to have to put his feet on the ground and deal with everything. He's going to have to do that. So they will have to run things by him and get his opinion on it. And Ashworth and Southgate, by the way, do have a history together at the FA. That is a proven fact. And you know what? A lot of the people that are involved in the stuff at INEOS right now that they have brought in, etc., everybody has a relation to each other, whether it's one person working with one person at Man City, you know, Umar Barada. And then now this new chief marketing officer that they've brought in, that's going to be the head of communications for United, from City. One person from Newcastle, another person from Newcastle, someone from, you know, Brighton, etc. Then Ashworth and Southgate got the history at the FA. Everybody somehow is interlinked. Everybody is somehow interlinked. Big up to Ridwan, the newest member in the community. Big up. You get to use the lovely and the wonderful emojis. How are we even at this point? Erik ten Hag was dealt a bad hand this season. Now, if he had a full squad and came in 8th, I would understand. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I feel bad for Erik ten Hag for his future to just be out in the open in the way that it is over the last couple months. And especially over the last 2 weeks, where you would have thought off the back of the FA Cup that would have been not a lifeline, but it would have got him some time. Maybe he would have felt like it would have got him some time. Now, Erik ten Hag reportedly still on holiday. Listen, that guy deserves he's earned his break. And I would say that to anybody at Manchester United this season. They've earned their break. Let them enjoy their holiday. But it must suck for every single day to pass and you still don't know where you stand at your job. That must suck. But of course, I think football, I can't compare this to like maybe having an office job or maybe like being a doctor or having a blue collar job or something like that. Football is different. It's different gravy in it. And he said it himself. If they don't want me, I'll just go elsewhere and win trophies there, which I don't doubt he probably would. He probably would do that. But I do feel bad for Erik ten Hag in the way that it's just, it seems like, and again, I'm just speculating in it because we don't know to what extent he's been communicating with INEOS and Manchester United. We don't know that. He might well and truly be in the loop with everything. He might well and truly be, because if he wasn't in the loop, guys, I think his camp would have been leaking stories saying that this is what's happening and, oh, he's been left out in the dark and he doesn't know anything and blah, blah. Like people, his media team and his agency would have tried to garner support from the fans by painting INEOS in a bad way. And in my opinion, and I think a lot of you lot might share a similar sentiment, INEOS still have a lot to prove to fans. They haven't really proved, I would say, themselves completely. The fact that they've got into bed with the Glazers made a lot of people skeptical as it is. So INEOS still have a lot to prove. The fact that there's no stories coming out painting INEOS in a negative way from like his camp makes me think that he might be in the loop and he's up to date with everything that's currently happening with this situation. I don't think, for me, like I said, guys, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it that they're reviewing his time and they're reviewing his season and the last 2 seasons and all the possible, situations that occurred. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying any of that. And the reason why I'm not buying it is because it doesn't take that long. INEOS have been in place since officially February, but we knew they were coming in since end of November times. Yeah. They've had time over 6 months to be in and around the situation with Erik ten Hag as manager in the dugout. They've had that moment. Now they don't suddenly need 2 more weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however many weeks to make a decision. I think, and I remember a couple of weeks ago when I said this and you lot got onto me in the chat, but I'm staying firm on the idea that Gareth Southgate is the manager that INEOS want. And it's unfortunate for INEOS that right now it's a major competition. If it was something like Nations League, I don't think it would have been stalling this much. But this is Euros, yeah? Off the back of finishing in the finals last year, runners-up, there's a lot of pressure on England. Southgate ain't going to sit down and talk to other people about other stuff. So INEOS have to play the waiting game. And they have to make it seem like, oh, we are reviewing stuff. That's what they have to do. Some more information just surrounding this situation. There is reluctance from INEOS to sack Erik ten Hag without a clear plan to appoint a replacement. While a number of managers have been linked with the post, INEOS want to make sure that if they do decide to change, it is to make the right appointment rather than being forced into a union with a figure they are not convinced by. That just further reiterates to me, guys, that they don't want to be forced there. For them, Pochettino being available, Thomas Tuchel being available, De Zerbi being available. If that was the manager they wanted, if that was truly the manager they wanted, then they would have ages ago got him. If it was De Zerbi they wanted, De Zerbi would have been in the job by now. If it was Thomas Tuchel would have been in the job right now. Whoever it was or whoever it is that they want, these lot would have had them by now. They would have had that manager by now. But this just further makes me think that there could be, some truth to everything. A little bit more on Southgate. INEOS have always had Southgate towards the top of their list of potential replacements for Erik ten Hag, and the England boss is still highly thought of by key figures in the club, including Dan Ashworth and Sir Dave Brailsford. For now, he remains out of reach as he prepares for the Euros. I'm not going to lie, yeah? He's got the right people on his side. Like, when you look at the people that are fans of Southgate or reportedly fans of Southgate, these are the people that are making the decisions, guys. These are the people with possibly the biggest influence out of everybody in that new hierarchy at INEOS. You're telling me Sir Dave Brailsford is a fan of you and Dan Ashworth is a fan of you. That's two of, I would say that's 50% of the key people under INEOS right now at Manchester United being fond of Southgate. The only other two is Umar Barada and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. You've already got Brailsford on your side. You've already got Ashworth on your side. Paul says, Minna, don't you think it would be irresponsible for them to wait for a manager who's in a competition now? This means Southgate comes in July and we are not prepared for the season. It could also mean that they maybe agree terms with Southgate to come next season. Because Southgate is under contract, I think, with England until 2026. They could agree terms for him to come next year. Erik ten Hag has a £9 million payout if they sack him between now and the end of his contract. INEOS might take the risk and say, you know what? We are going to implement our playing style. We're going to sign the players we want. And we're going to keep Erik ten Hag for 1 year. There's nothing luxurious in them keeping him for 1 year because that's his contract. And that's why I said many times, and it feels like to me, if INEOS come out and they keep ten Hag, keeping him is not enough. They have to back him and be like, you know what, here's an extension. If they do not say we're keeping him for 3 years, we're building a project. If they just say we're keeping Erik ten Hag for 1 more year, there's nothing luxurious in that. There's nothing convincing in that because that 1 year is his contract. That's the 1 year he has left in the contract that he has. they are not, for me, that's more like a lifeline for them to get what they're doing next season. And that is maybe Gareth Southgate, maybe that's someone else. Radwan says, I'll back any manager that comes in, but oh my days, is this depressing or what, minute? The thought of Southgate, guys, I'm not joking, but the thought of Southgate coming to United for me is just, that is the lowest of the lowest. Like, I didn't even feel like this when Moyes was coming in. I didn't even feel like that. I would even go as far to say Moyes is a better manager than Southgate is. I would even, but that doesn't mean I want David Moyes back. David Moyes for me was a very, like, a low, when he got appointed, I was just so sad. That whole season, it was so miserable. It was so miserable. I think Southgate for me, I don't know, man, just the thought of it is so upsetting. If Southgate is hired, Rashford will leave. No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll leave. Abe says, if it's actually Southgate, I'm 100% INEOS out. I think I've seen a lot of people saying that they want INEOS out. But guys, back to what I said earlier in the stream. This is what INEOS maybe want to build. This is maybe what INEOS want to build. The British club, British owners, British manager, the best in class, the Branthwaites, etc., the British talents. This is maybe what they're trying to build. Maybe this is the I was gonna say Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a Brexiteer, but does that even make a difference? I don't think so. Waistcoats for David Moyes was misunderstood by your fan base. I don't think David Moyes was. I just think he wasn't the right manager to take over from Sir Alex Ferguson. That's it. I think if he was like further down, if it was like Van Gaal and then Mourinho and then maybe Moyes, I don't think it would have been as bad as Moyes being the manager directly after Sir Alex Ferguson. I think that's what kind of messed it up for him as well, is the fact that he was straight after the greatest manager to bless the league. Simple as that. Mail on Sport is also reporting that Gareth Southgate is Manchester United's priority choice to replace Ten Hag. Now, that's why I said it's not just speculation. It's not just speculation. It's obviously, I think a lot of journalists are, I feel like sometimes they might be clutching at straws at the ideas of, I think they're kind of clutching at straws at the ideas of what's going to happen. I think a lot of people's sources maybe are kind of non-existent now at the club. However, if Southgate does join, guys, I'm not joking. I don't know how you lot will feel. However, let's go on to something more positive. Let's talk about transfers. When we talk about transfer news, guys, it kind of lightens the mood a little bit. Whereas when we come and talk about Southgate, it's like, oh, shoulders slumped. We're in a miserable mood. And then we talk about De Zerbi. People get a bit more happier. We talk about Poch. People get a bit more sad. We talk about Tuchel. Some people get a bit more happier. Let's talk about transfers and the transfer news surrounding Manchester United right now. Big up to Sports Predictions with the super chat, just the super sticker. I appreciate the contribution as well. Says, I think we are all wrong about what's going on because we are all just guessing. It's speculation, guys. It's everything here. It's not just speculation, by the way. Some of it is reported by the news. You know, if you watch Sky Sports are saying that Manchester United should be wrapping up their review in the next week. I feel like every Friday, that's what we're hearing. They're saying in the next week. It's not that we don't know. It's just everybody has different information and we don't know what the truth is. It's as simple as that. But that is what this kind of stuff happens. That kind of stuff happens. When it was the takeover stuff, nobody knew what was happening. We were just talking about what is being reported at the time. That's it. Now, some information on Bruno Fernandes, someone who's been at the center of discussion over the last couple weeks, is serious offers for Bruno Fernandes would begin at a minimum of 70 million, but he is rated by INEOS as Manchester United's finest footballer. I think he's going to get that contract that he's looking for. He's going to get that little bump up, maybe like a 260 a week, 270 a week, or it might even be like 230 a week with a bunch of kind of clauses. Obviously, United are in Europa this year, so maybe like there might be a clause for a bonus of like winning Europa League, getting a number of assists, getting a number of goals. What else? What kind of other clauses could they put in for an attacking midfielder? That would probably be the main ones. Maybe a number of wins in the season. maybe finishing, getting a number of, I don't know, player of the month awards, etc., etc. That might be what I think the kind of contract he can get. 6 players will be allowed to leave Bayern for suitable offers this year. Koeman, Gnabry, Goretzka, Kimmich, Mazraoui, De Ligt. I wanted Mazraoui ages ago when he was at Ajax. I think it was when he was at Ajax. I wanted him. Not so much now. He does have a lot of injury problems. The only person, if United ever went to Bayern Munich, the only person I want them to walk away with is Jamal Musiala. And I know he might not be available this year, but I think he's approaching 2 more years left on his contract. He hasn't agreed a new contract with them. I hope City don't sign him, because I hope City get found guilty, so they can't afford to sign him. But I'm looking at that list of players, those 6 players, and Gnabry injury issues. Koeman, yeah, he's all right. I do like the idea of Desire Doue from Rennes. Gonna speak about him later into the stream. Goretzka, Kimmich maybe is the only one. De Ligt, not so much. I feel like De Ligt stocks have definitely kind of gone down over the last recent period. I feel like I definitely think that it's definitely gone down a little bit. All 6 start for our team, probably. I thought it was Marcel on your thumbnail until I realized it was Kevin. I'm so that looks what? I need to go back and look at the thumbnail. Hold on. That don't look anything like Marcel. Marcel ain't got dreads like that. He's got braids. I'm dead now. It does kind of look like him. It does look like Marcel a tiny bit. A tiny bit. But not from the dreads. Not from the dreads. But yeah, that's just quickly on Bruno Fernandes. However, that is really not the main topic of discussion for transfer news today. Funnily enough, talking about Khéphren. United have been linked to Khéphren Thuram. He's at Nice right now. Could go, for a price around 20 to 30 million euros, which will probably be around 20-ish million pounds. Now, Khéphren Thuram for 20 million or 20-ish million, and then Fofana for another 25 million. That could be 2 midfielders for about 40-ish million pounds. That wouldn't sound, to me, it doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound bad. I don't know how realistic it is, because Khéphren Thuram, by the way, last season was linked to multiple moves to the Premier League. And I think he was actually linked to Liverpool before they went for Gravenberch in the end. So there is interest from other teams from Thuram. But this is coming from L'Equipe, so this is coming straight out of France. Of course, they've already got that relation with Nice, thanks to, INEOS. You see the name right there on the shirt. Thanks to INEOS, Nice and United could definitely have that relation. But I do think that if United are signing a midfielder, I said this on a stream 2 days ago, that we need to kind of look more in the French league, especially when it comes to the physical aspect of players that we need, whether it's defenders or maybe like midfielders. Definitely for me, Ligue 1 should be one of the leagues that we look at to get players from, mainly because I feel like just the physicality is probably closer to the Premier League in that league. And Thuram is one of them. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure out of Thuram and Fofana, I personally would take Fofana, but that's just my personal preference. Big up to Sports Predictions with another super sticker. What is the super sticker? It's saying mood, big up. You guys, just like Sports Predictions, you can send in super chats with your thoughts, with your comments, any questions that you have. If you're joining the stream a bit late, I think you're probably catching up with the Southgate talk. I think we need to get rid of all the players that are earning big money except Bruno, because he delivers consistently. Well, I'm going to come back to this question. Let me just load it up on the screen. I'm going to load up Man United's salaries and see, out of all the people on the payroll, who's the highest earners and which ones are most likely to leave. But I'll come back to that point. Quickly. Mazraoui is good, can play left back, right back, and defensive midfield. I think Mazraoui is good, but I think he's been unfortunate with injury issues, especially over the last 2 years. I think especially since the World Cup, he's been kind of unfortunate with the kind of injuries that he's been experiencing as well. Throughout the Champions League campaign, he was coming off quite often for Bayern Munich. Now, it's interesting to see that he's already come in. By the way, I'm talking about Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany has already come in and has this is why it helps to get a manager in early before the window even opens, because the manager can decide what players that they don't want to keep at the club, and it will make the transfer window a bit more easier. And Bayern Munich is just kind of like an example of that. Kimmich is the most run midfielder in Europe. Tuchel decided to play him right wing back, and Glow got kicked off. Yeah, I don't know why. Thomas Tuchel makes some weird decisions sometimes. He makes some very, very unusual decisions. Another player that Manchester United have been linked to as well is Jean-Claire Todibo. Now, guys, we've been linked to this brother since last season, I think. Last summer when I first started my channel, I remember doing streams talking about Todibo, Tapsoba, Mark Gay, and someone else. And yet here we are 12 months later, still linked to him. Now, the price doesn't sound too bad, 21 million. Now, I don't know how realistic that price is. And I think Man United and Nice will have to be vigilant when they're dealing with each other, because, you know, I don't want 5 years from now something coming back to bite United in the arse because of the way that they dealt with their co-owned clubs, etc., etc. But 21 million for him is not bad. Now, I saw a report today about Euro, who we spoke about a few days ago on stream, suggesting that he does prefer Real Madrid. And I've known that over the last couple of months when I've heard talk about him, it was saying that he preferred Real Madrid. Now, obviously, playing time is a big part for him at Real Madrid, so I'm not sure how realistic that is when they have, you know, the likes of Rudiger, etc. I think Nacho is leaving, so maybe that might open up a spot there. But even then, he's a right-sided centre back. But Todibo, for me, it just sounds like easy business that United should just be getting done. They should just be getting this through the door immediately. Sounds like a fake price. I'm not gonna lie, 21 million sounds too good to be true. Like, it does sound too good to be true. But then I think about it, and last summer the price tag was 40 million. So you're telling me that his valuation, or the club's valuation of him, has halved in the space of 12 months. It does sound a little too good to be true. Desire Doue, what you think, Minna? We're gonna come to him. Don't worry. We're gonna come to him at the towards the end of the stream. Todibo was unlucky at Barca, like PK was at United. Top players, but top class centre backs in front of them. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that as a footballer. It's quite unfortunate for you in the situation that you are in. And I hear it. I hear it for Todibo. I do get also the idea of Todibo because of Nice's, I don't want to say collaboration, but the involvement they have with INEOS and Manchester United. I think the business just makes it easier. It's just realistic. Realistically, it's an easier deal to get through the door. That's it. And for me, that's kind of what I feel like Manchester United should be all over that opportunity. For me, I just don't get if United don't sign a centre back this summer, I will be very, very amazed. Honestly, I will be very, very amazed. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. How many likes are we on? How many guys? Come on, let's get the likes and the views adding up, guys. Let's get the likes and the views adding up. It really helps with the algorithm as I'm trying to, you know, push my channel a bit more over the next couple months. We just got to 4K the other day, so next is road to 5K and then road to 10K, etc., etc. And I really appreciate it. So be sure to hit the like button. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. We will be doing a member-only live stream next week. We're going to talk everything, basically. We're going to talk about football stuff. We're going to do Q&A, all of them kind of stuff. So if you want to get involved, that will be available only for members. So join the membership club. And like I said, it supports the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in other ways outside of membership, outside of likes, you can send in super chats with your comments, with your questions, or just to support the channel. That is also appreciated, and it goes a long, long way. Bayern going for João Paulinho once again. What? Again? His deal fell through last time. his deal fell through last time. So that would be very, very interesting to see how that works out. Maybe INEOS know they can get Todibo, so they don't have to rush. That's true. That's true. Maybe they feel comfortable in signing him. Let me see if that is he actually reporting that. Let me just check because I'm just interested to see if Pauline is being linked there again. All his tweets are in German, man. Oh no, they're in English. I haven't seen it. I can't see anything. But I will trust your word. I will trust your word on that. Iheanacho is leaving Leicester, guys. Do you think that would be a bad shout? Would that be a bad shout for a backup player? Kelechi Iheanacho. Guys, please don't make me feel like I'm bugging out, yeah? And don't cook me. I'm not saying starter. I'm not saying he's a starter. I'm not saying he's going to compete for Højlund. But United need depth. Amari Forson is leaving. So say Højlund is injured and we have no other strikers available. Would that be bad business? I don't think it would be bad. I don't think that would be bad business, personally. I don't think it would be bad business. However, I don't know how realistic that would be as a move. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how realistic that would be. This came up yesterday or 2 days ago, just as I ended the stream. So I never really got to touch upon it. But Manchester United are looking for a new left-back this summer, and this was reported by Fabrizio Romano. Milos Kerkez at Bournemouth is one of the players. I'm not going to lie. If it ain't Nuri, I don't want that. Ain't Nuri or nothing for me when it comes to left back. I saw reports the other day suggesting that obviously United need a left back. Luke Shaw somehow is fit for the Euros after he just sat out nearly half of the season. But Harry Amas is rated very highly at Manchester United, and I think that there is hesitation on bringing in a starter left back that wouldn't give him an opportunity to kind of play in the first team, which I kind of understand it. But for me, I can't lie. If it isn't Nuri, I am not interested in that whatsoever. But just quickly as well, talking about Luke Shaw and the national team, Harry Maguire, guys, is going to be the biggest loss for England. Can I say that? England are going to miss out on Harry Maguire so much. And it's very unfortunate because I was counting on him to be at the Euros to lift his price tag. I was hoping he'd have a good summer and that would increase his price tag. But obviously, he's not been selected to play for England, despite his efforts of being fit. This was his statement as well. He hasn't been able to overcome the calf injury that he's had. And coming off of the back of the season that he had this year, there was nothing I wanted more than Harry Maguire to go to England, go to the Euros, and just smash it up. Just have a great competition, have a great tournament. But now I look at that England backline, and I just think this is the smelliest backline I've ever seen over the last 2 or 3 major tournaments for England. That backline, the midfield is good, front line is good, but the backline is horrible. John Stones is probably the best centre-back available there. Kyle Walker's there. Luke Shaw, I don't even know how no one's, by the way, paying attention to the fact that Luke Shaw has been injured. Roy Keane alluded to this a couple months. When was it? Like last month, about players who sit out at club to stay fit for the national team when they are fit as well. Luke Shaw sat out, has been injured half of the flipping season. Half of the season he has been injured. I can't even remember when was the last time he actually played. Was not fit for the latter stages of the season, especially coming up to the FA Cup final. But yet Harry Maguire is the one that can't overcome his injury, but Luke Shaw can. I don't know, man. There's something fishy there. For me, there's something fishy there. Just some additional information on Mason Greenwood. Reportedly has said yes to a move to Juve. Multiple clubs have been interested in him. Manchester United reportedly, and this is coming from reports from like weeks ago, are only looking to sell him. They're not looking to loan him out as well. Again, where was he on loan at right now? I don't even know. Where was he at? Granada? I knew Getafe. I think he was. I can't remember. He was on loan at some Spanish team. Had a decent loan spell. it looks like his time at Manchester United will probably come to an end now this summer. Head off to Juve. I don't know what the price tag will be. I don't know what you lot think the price tag will be. I think maybe United could get about 30 million for him. I think 30 million might be reasonable. I don't know if that's me kind of undercutting it for him. But I think 30. What do you lot think is the price tag for Greenwood leaving this season? Let me see what you're saying. Greenwood would destroy Serie A. 35 million. Yeah, sounds about realistic. 35 sounds realistic. Maybe Atletico wants Mason Greenwood. Greenwood will destroy Serie A. 30 to 40 million. That don't sound too bad. Juve ain't got money to spend. I think it's a loan deal again. Rajat says 30 to 35 million. Greenwood would have been 100 million a few years ago. He would have been priced at that 100% many years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it was actually not really that long ago. I do think, I think he will leave. I think he will leave inevitably, and I think it's the best situation for the club and the player. I know some of you lot might not agree with it, but I think let's be respectful of everybody's opinions when it comes to this situation with Mason Greenwood leaving. Now, someone asked me earlier, what do I think of Doue, winger, left winger, I think he is. Plays in the attacking midfield, plays in the wing for Rennes. Now, Rennes, I think I might have pronounced it wrong. But you don't know I pronounce names wrong here all the time. Now, the first time I ever heard of Doue, shout out to one of my friends called Khalid. My friend Khalid was basically posting about him back at the beginning of the season. And that was the first time he ever came up on my radar. And then I watched 1 or 2 Rennes games this season. I thought he was pretty good, very young and very raw. But I thought he was quite talented. And over the last couple of weeks, I've never heard, by the way, I haven't heard anything of United being linked to him. But I do think it's something that United should look at throughout, this transfer window. I don't see him staying at Rennes. Okay, it's just Rennes. Okay. I don't see him staying at Rennes because I think he's earned himself a move and they will probably try cash in on it. Now, I don't know what the price tag is. Transfer market suggests that his value is 30 million euros. I don't know how realistic that is. But guys, this kid, very, very talented. The way he dribbles, his ball retention ability, his ability to link up, get involved with other players. And for me, his biggest standout, personally, is his dribbling ability and the technique of the way that he can keep the ball in close proximity. Now, you lot know, I was getting cooked the other day on the stream. Someone was getting on to me. But you lot know me, I like graphs. I like visuals. For people who are visual learners, it's kind of nice to put things into perspective here rather than dashing a bunch of statistics and numbers, etc. at you. But this is the percentile rank. Yeah, this is based on the percentile rank versus other League One wingers / attacking midfielders in the French league for the season, and just look at how high these statistics are. Now we're going to go into a bit more of a deeper analysis of him and his traits, his abilities, maybe some of his flaws. But for me, there's no reason why, if other teams are looking at him, that United should not be looking at him personally. So if we start with possession and passing, he's in the higher end of stuff. By the way, he's only 19 years old, hasn't even made an appearance, I think, for the French national team. He's still playing in the younger, I think he's in the under 23 bracket still, but his passes into the penalty area, he's in the higher percentile rank for that, 96%. That's one of the highest attributes that he has. Then his crosses into the pen, around 82%. So he more so likes to pass it ball to feet rather than in the air. His progressive passes received, meaning he gets involved, he gets opportunities. He's good at linking up with his teammates. He's in the 85-ish percentages, and then attacking third touches in the 81%, which basically alludes to the idea that his teammates look for him in threatening positions, and that's the kind of player you need in attack, especially. That is the kind of player that you should definitely want. Now, if we were to look at his dribbling, which is one thing that I said that for me is one of his standout attributes that he has, he's in the very, very highest bracket of successful take-ons. 97% in comparison to others in the league. For Manchester United and United fans who have been forced to watch players that cannot beat a man, cannot successfully take on a man, this is music to our ears. Then we go on to look at other stuff and the carries into the final third. Again, getting into threatening positions. He's in the higher end of that as well. Then, you know, progressive carries into the pen area. He's trying to get into threatening positions, but he likes to spend time getting involved in build-up and attack, especially in the final thirds. Now, he's, I think, had like 4 goals and like 6 assists this season. His first big time shot, I would say, playing at Rennes. He did get some appearances last season, but this has really been his first major breakout season. I'll call it his breakout season. So he's in the 69% for people in the same position as him in the French league when it comes to assists. So there's still stuff for him to build on. But I remember reading an article and I had to go and find it because I wanted to share it with you lot. This article was from a year ago. Shout out to Liam Thorne at The Athletic, probably one of my favorite writers. I used to work with him when I was at The Athletic, and this guy, his ball knowledge is out of this world. And he wrote a piece over a year ago, just under a year ago, sorry, about Doue and why people need to look out for him. Now, I'm gonna drop the link in the bio of this later on, because it's got a bunch of screenshots of the way that he plays, and you know, it takes screenshots from the matches. I'm not trying to get done, for the copyright thing. But this was last season. Right? And I'm gonna zoom in for you lot. This was last season with limited minutes at Rennes, and you could see that he got involved everywhere on the pitch, progressing the ball forward. This is what United need when it comes to a winger. Whether we're linked to Elise or whoever it is, we need someone that can get forward, get into positions in the final third, make themselves available, have successful take-ons, put in deliveries in the box, get in a goal, etc., etc. That's what United need. Marcus Rashford, for me, will never be that. Because I think the Marcus Rashford that we have now is the Marcus Rashford that is goal-minded. Everything he does is with the idea of getting a goal, getting on the score sheet. And that's no, by the way, criticism to him. I think he's just evolved in the kind of player that he wants to be, where he's gone from, being that link-up player that he was with Anthony Martial a couple years ago to now just basically all he sees is the net. And that's where he's trying to put the ball at all times. Now, this, of course, is based on last season. And you just look, I think it helps to have a visual representation of how players play if you don't watch them regularly. Now, again, like I mentioned, a 30 million price tag, if it's true, will be a flipping bargain. That will be a bargain. However, I don't think, personally, things are always like it seems. I don't think things are always as it seems. Now, as we were speaking earlier about salaries, we were speaking about how much people earn and realistically who United could get rid of. Let me just zoom in so you lot can see this. Big up Mapuka says, Mina, have you seen Francisco? I can't pronounce that, guys. I got you know me. I got. Hold on. Let me see how that name should be pronounced. Oh, why is he wearing an Ajax shirt? He's at Porto. Okay. Portuguese player. I might have to look at Conceição. Thank you very much. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know much about him. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to write it down and I'm going to look into him. I might look into him and see if I can find anything about him to share on a stream later in the week. 5'7", 21 years old, currently playing at Porto. Came from Ajax. He was at Ajax 2 years ago. He only joined Porto last season. He joined Porto last season, but then he was on loan as well. Interesting. Did he come through? He didn't come through Ajax's academy. So he went from Porto youth team to the senior team to Ajax and then back to Porto. That's so random. Why did he do that? Okay, what happened at Ajax? I'm trying to see what happened at Ajax with this guy, yeah? Because it's very random, guys, to come through multiple, by the way, youth careers, and then predominantly then Porto, for him to just end up at Porto's senior team, then Ajax's B team, and then going to Ajax and then back to Porto. Like, what the hell? So he joined Ajax in 2022 on a 5-year deal, with Ajax triggering his release clause. 9 days later, he didn't play, blah, blah, blah. Shortly after, Ajax manager Alfredo, that's how you know I'm hungry. Alfred Schroeder. This is the bold guy, right? That's the bald-headed guy that got sacked last season. Revealed that he intended to have Conceição behind Antony in the pecking order in order for him to get used to his new team. But despite Antony's departure, Conceição's status within the team didn't change, and he remained a substitute after Mohamed Kudus was prepared as the club's starting right winger. He also struggled because he could not speak Dutch or English, leading him to play on the second team to adjust to the Dutch game. Damn. Then he went back on a season-long loan to Porto. This brother been through a lot, bro. This brother been through a lot. I'm going to look into him, though. I'm definitely going to look into him. Now, someone mentioned it earlier on the stream. I said I was going to come back to it at the end of the stream. Looking at the highest earned players, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's make it 10. There you go. Victor Lindelof. Yeah, let's make it the 10 highest earners at Manchester United. And by the way, I think this is... How accurate is this? This has to be accurate. This has to be accurate. Because I think this is base salary and it's not including any bonuses. That's it. It's base salary, not including any bonuses. And you look at the highest earners there. Bruno Fernandes is the 5th highest earner in the club. And he's still not happy with how much he earns. And I don't blame him, because he looks at the people earning more than him. Marcus Rashford, Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho, 250 I think is his base salary, and then I think everything else is his bonuses as well. Antony, 200. Antony, guys, went from earning 20k at Ajax to 200k. That is inflation in true format. If inflation impacted salaries, that is what it would be. Literally, that's what it would be. I'm not surprised that Antony comes out all the time and says, I want to fight for the badge. I love the club, blah, blah, blah. Because bro was on 20k a week and went to 200k. Of course he doesn't want to leave. Harry Maguire's amount, by the way, that he earns is such a random figure, guys. Like, why is it not a whole number? Why is it not a whole number? But we look at this in the top 10. How many of these people would United realistically offload? Realistically. I think Casemiro is one. I don't think Mason Mount's going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think Marcus Rashford is going to be sold, really, unless I think a big deal kind of comes in for him. Like, I'm talking 100 million. Jadon Sancho, I don't think he's going anywhere unless... my opinion on Jadon Sancho is that he should be sold if United are looking to get rid of him. And if they're not looking to get rid of him, and they're looking to keep him, then keep him. But if they're looking to get rid of him, sell him. Don't send him out on another loan spell, because that's just wasting his time and wasting our own time. Antony, for me, should be number 1 on the transfer list when the transfer market opens. Harry Maguire, I think, will be sold. However, how realistic would it be for United to be able to offload him when he's got this calf injury? Like, how likely is it that he'll pass a medical? Christian Eriksen, for me, is on 150k. Wallahi, this club just dash out money like ridiculous. Christian Eriksen, that makes sense as to how they managed to convince him to join the project in Erik ten Hag's first summer over other people that was interested in him. Because I remember other teams were interested in him. I remember Spurs was interested in him. And I always wondered, why did he pick United over all the other clubs that were in for him on a free as well? So any club that would have got him, it would have been low risk, low reward. Of course, it's because they offered him 150k. Luke Shaw spent majority of the season being out this year to be fit for the Euros, and he's chilling on 150k. Victor Lindelof, for me, 120k. I think let's compare. What team should we compare salaries to? Should we do Chelsea? Because you know Chelsea be giving out mad salaries. I want to be on the same website. Let me make sure I'm on the same website. There you go. I'm looking at, yeah, it's the same website. I want to look at the same. Donny van der Beek is on 120k. Damn, the top 4 owners have been stinking the gaff out. Call pest control. I don't feel the club can move forward if Rashford is still at the club. You know what it is like, I think with Bruno Fernandes, it's one of them situations where they won't sell him because I think he's rated highly at INEOS. However, I think with Rashford, if the right deal comes in for Rashford, I think they wouldn't even blink twice. I personally, I don't think United would blink twice. They will take it and run with it because they probably feel like INEOS know that the biggest mistake that was made was signing Casemiro when United did, but also giving Rashford the contract that they gave him. Rashford's contract, 300k base salary, it shouldn't have been that much. It should have been less than that, and the rest should have been bonuses, in my opinion, because that's incentive to work hard. It should have been an incentive-driven contract. That's what they were trying to give Rafael Varane, by the way. Apparently, when they were negotiating with Rafael Varane, they were trying to give him a low base salary and an incentive-driven bunch of bonuses, and that's not what he wanted, which I get it. United are not looking like they're going to win a Premier League anytime soon. They don't look like they're going to win a Champions League anytime soon. So taking an incentive bonus, unless it's personal incentives, i.e. number of goals, number of assists, them kind of stuff, as a player, if you're a forward, if you're a striker, for example, you can control that, the number of goals you score. But as a defender, you can't control the clean sheets because that's a team effort. If I'm making sense, guys, let's look at Chelsea and see what the... Allah, cap them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, this is their top 10. This is their top 10 highest earners. Oh my days. How the flip? Guys, I'm not joking, but who the hell is David Fofana? I don't think I've ever seen this guy play for Chelsea. Let me Google him. Hold on. David Fofana. Is this the guy at Burnley? Is this the guy that was at Burnley on loan? It is him. And he's on 200k. He's on 200k and he was at Burnley on loan. Lukaku, I cannot remember. I'm not joking, guys. I can't remember the last time I seen Lukaku in a Chelsea shirt. It must have been like 2 seasons ago, right? I swear the last 2 seasons he's been out on loan. Raheem Sterling, 325k. No wonder bro doesn't want to leave. Reece James, 250. Ben Chilwell, 200. The 2 Fofanas on 200. Nah, this is... Who's their lowest earner? Levi Colwill is on 5k a week. 5k a week. That is so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. He's on 5k a week. Lavia is on 45k a week. Malo Gusto, 45k a week. Conor Gallagher, 50k a week. Trevor Chalobah, 50k a week. I swear if United sign him, yeah, and they give him 150k, it's game over. You see, look at this. Cole Palmer, 75k. Disasi, 80k. Badashili, 90k. Mudryk, 100k. Caicedo, 150. This is outrageous. Maybe I don't feel too bad about United. Maybe I don't really feel too bad about United. But Mino, base it on his 30-goal season, then take into account Sancho was on 250 at the time. That's why Rashford got the contract he did. He had the negotiating power. Yeah, I know. I hear it. It makes sense. He had the advantage. He had the upper hand when it came to everything. And I can't really be that, like, we can't be too harsh about it. But for me, it's a contract that I still look at and think, I wish INEOS maybe were in place. What do you think INEOS would have done had they had INEOS been in place when Rashford was looking for that contract deal? I don't think it would have ended up the way that it probably would have. Personally, I don't think it would have ended up that way. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We will be back tomorrow. I'm saying we as if there's other people, but I will be back tomorrow morning for a more earlier stream. I don't anticipate that United will make any kind of official statements between now and then, but if they do, I'll be live with a stream as always. Do we have any content this week? We do. We got content over the weekend. We're doing a Euro stream ahead of the lovely tournament starting next week. So be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. You guys know what it is. Let's see how many likes we're on before we wrap the stream up. All right, let's get to 100. If you're watching this back on stream, if you're watching this back after the stream, let's get 100 likes for the algorithm purpose, man. You guys know what it is. It really helps to push the channel out there to more and more people. As always, if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. England are playing this evening. I completely forgot. But guys, I'm not gonna lie, I have no interest in friendly games. Like, it's more interesting for me to watch the games that are being played in Asia and Africa, because those are actual World Cup qualifiers, whereas in Europe right now, they're just playing a bunch of friendlies. I don't really have much interest in it. Somalia got smoked today. I'm so glad. I was going to do a watch along. I'm very glad that I didn't. But big up to everyone. If you're watching back, like I said, be sure to hit the like button. On your way out, if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you do. I'm out, guys. I hope you have a wonderful Friday evening, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more transfer and just Manchester United news. You guys know what it is. As always, it's your girl Minna. Peace.